Hi all, good morning and welcome to today's class of current affairs and editorial analysis. Before I start the class, let me come across again, whenever we go for a current affairs class, it is always useful that we should be going for mind mapping. Like whenever we come across a topic, it is utmost important that we should elaborate our learnings into whatever way we can link things all together, right? Now let us come to a topic. Say for example, yesterday 3 bills have been passed in Lok Sabha, right? Lok Sabha, we all know Lok Sabha, right? Last time we have already discussed that India is a federal in structure that is divided into center as well as the states, where this parliament have two houses. One is upper house, that is called as Rajya Sabha, and one is the lower house, which is called Lok Sabha, right? Basically, the purpose of this is all bills can be introduced in both the houses, right? Any bill that requires a law to be made, that have to be first passed by the Lok Sabha, followed by the signature of president. So what happens is, now when a bill is introduced either in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, that bill is debated, that bill is discussed, and if that bill is passed by a major vote, that goes to the consent of president, right? For the consent of president, and once gets signed, then finally it becomes a law, right? So yesterday 3 bills have been passed. The first one is National Sports University Bill for 2018. This university is proposed to be set up in Manipur, which will be all in round a sports university, everything related to sports. The second one is Banning of Unregulated Deposit Schemes Bill 2018, and the third is National Medical Commission Bill 2017. However, I'll be elaborating and discussing all three bills in brief, so that a clear understanding can be realized. Right? So the first, National Sports Bill 2018. Here, this bill is basically proposed by Lok Sabha member, that is Mr. Rajyavardhan Singh Rathore. He is basically the Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports, and on July 23rd, 2018, he introduced this bill, right? National Sports Bill 2018. Now, this Mr. Rajyavardhan Singh Rathore, his background is from army and he is an Olympic medalist. He is one of the person who got Olympic medal for our country in shooting. So apart from this, he belongs to army. He retired from army. He took voluntary retirement from army and is serving the country as a Union Minister for Youth Affairs and Sports. He is also in news in recent because he was a person who started Fit India campaign, right? Fit India campaign in Twitter, right? Now, this is a question again, that which of the ministers have started this Fit India campaign related to health and fitness, right? So in that case, Rajyavardhan Singh Rathore is the answer, and Rajyavardhan Singh Rathore is the Minister of Youth Affairs as well as the sports, right? So this bill, now what is the importance and what is the importance of introducing this bill? We all know that though a 125, we are over a 1.25 billion population, our contribution to sports is quite minimal when we compare to our population. And the same when is compared to other countries, like having a minimal population, having a population not even equivalent to our states, they are performing well, right? So somewhere we are lacking in the law, somewhere we are lacking in education and ethics when it comes to sports. So this agenda of proposing this university is basically to undertake research on physical education, strengthen sports training programs, and collaborate internationally in the field of physical education, among others. Right? Now, it basically replaces the National Sports Union University Ordinance 2018 that was promulgated on May 31st, 2018. On May 31st, 2018, another bill was introduced. right? That was Sports National Sports Ordinance, National Sports Ordinance, or it is also called as National Sports University Ordinance, right? So later it was recorrected, some parts have been added and finally introduced as National Sports University Bill instead of Ordinance, right? As I told, the establishment of the university is important for this following three points: to undertake research, strengthen the sports, as well as to enable physical education internationally and collaborate, right? And basically, the function, this was the objective when it comes to function. When it comes to function, the key power and function of the university will include prescribing courses, basically to prescribe courses, of study and conducting training programs, basically to conducting training programs, granting degrees and certificates, right? Then providing facility to digital education system, that is for distance learning, for the enthusiast who cannot come and join the university, then conferring autonomous state on a college or a training, basically to also confer autonomous status, right? So for this, obviously for running this, so this was the objective as I have defined. This is the objective and this is basically the function of the university, right? Now when we come back, obviously to run a university we need certain authorities, right? So for such authority in this university, in this bill, what is proposed is there are few things which are proposed. One is court authority, right? The university will have to have the following authorities. One is court, the second one is a executive council, the third one an academic council, academic and activity council, then a board of sports, then a finance commission as well, right? First, the court. The authority to set a court is basically which will review the policies of the university and suggest measure for its development, right? So whatever policies are required and whatever measures that need to be suggested, that have to come from the court. Whereas the executive council, which will be principal executive body, this executive council will be the principal executive body, and that is their responsibility to the projects have to be executed whatever have been decided by the board. And then there will be a academic and activity council which will be supervise academic policies. When it comes to board of sports, this particularly board, so it is quite clear that a board of sports studies which will approve the subjects for research and recommend measures to improve standards of teaching. And finally, the finance committee. So when it comes to finance committee, obviously it have to look into day-to-day affairs of fulfilling the financial need, which will examine proposals related to creation of posts, right? Creation of posts, then recommend limits on the expenditure of the university, and further additional authorities may be declared depending on whatever requirement in future, right? So basically this is these are the objective, then the function and the authority that have to come from this university. So this executive council who will be responsible for executing the project, the executive council will be responsible for all the authorities, right? All the authorities, even all administrative related activities, affairs of the universities, whose members of the council will be nominated by the central. This executive council, whosoever will be coming, this will be nominated. Those will be nominated for a 2 year. This will be nominated for 2 years, and the members will include one vice chancellor. There's 2 years, and the members in that will include one vice chancellor that will be appointed by the central government, one joint secretary that will be recommended by the Ministry of Youth Affairs, and other four eminent sports personalities who have sometime back have brought laurels to the country and who have huge experience in sports, right? So this is regarding the executive council. Similarly, when we come to the key function of the council, that will include creating academic posts and the appointment, managing the revenue and property of the university, managing and regulating the finance of university, partnering with industry and non-government agencies to advance knowledge, right? So the schedule to the bill contains status that specify the establishment, composition and power of various authorities such as chancellor, vice chancellor, dean of the schools, right? Now one may question that why we need to have this executive council. One have to come across from central, one have to be from youth ministry, and four have to be from eminent personalities. So it is quite obvious when it comes to run any organization, transparency should be at most important, as well as with that a quality product have to come. So for that reason only, a mixture of authority, a mixture of power have been proposed. In this, role of central government also plays a huge role, because the central government will review and inspect the functioning of the university. The executive council may take action based on the findings of the inspection, right? Because whatever gaps the audit will be from the audit, whatever gaps will be found, that have to be satisfied by the executive council, and that will be there responsible to take action based on the finding. And if no action is taken within a reasonable time period, the central government may issue binding direction to the council, right? In addition, the central government may annul any proceeding of the university which do not conform with the bill. Now, above all, for running this university, fund will be required. So how the bill have proposed, how the ministry have proposed for the bill, the different directions from where the fund is actually proposed is contribution by the central. One is from the central government, state government and UGC. The fund that has been proposed are from central government, state government and from UGC. Apart from this, loan, gifts and donations will be open from all, however in a transparent manner. Income, apart from this, income from fees, right? From fees, amounts received from any other sources in a transparent manner will be also considered. And these funds will be invested. These funds will be invested based on the recommendation of the Finance Commission, right? So these are the objective, function, and the bullet points for this National Sports University Bill 2018, which have been proposed yesterday, and which have been introduced. This bill have been introduced yesterday by this uh, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, right? So this is all about the points when it comes to National Sports University Bill. Here, apart from this, when we go for mind mapping, we need to understand on which sports we are playing now. Now, when it comes to sports, it can be divided into three parts, right? One is international, one is national, and one is Asian, right? When it comes to international, these are Olympic Games, right? Olympic Games and Commonwealth Games. When it comes to national, so it is national sports, obvious. Asian, we have South Asian Games and Asian Games. So what we need to understand here is questions come across like last time before 2018, when was the Olympic game played and which country it was played, right? Similarly, the next year where this Olympic game is going to happen. So this is how we can do is this Olympic Games, Commonwealth Games, National Waves and Asian Games, you need to know when the upcoming game, when are the upcoming dates for the game and where it is going to be played, because questions do come from that when in 2022 Olympic Games will be played in which place, right? So similarly you can go for others. So these are the points for this particular university bill, but there are also a bit of disputes. There are a bit of disputes and appeals because any student or candidate whose names has been removed from the rolls of university, say for whatever reason, in that case, who has been barred for appearing for examination may appeal to the Executive Council for review of the decision. And any dispute arising out of disciplinary action taken by the university student should be heard by the Executive Council only, right? So apart from this, a dispute board will also be set up so that in future, say for example, any student is barred from the examination, that student should get a fair chance to propose his role in that, right? Now, let us go to the next news. Another bill that was introduced yesterday was banning of unregulated deposit schemes, Bill 2018. Even this was introduced in Lok Sabha. Okay, Lok Sabha 554 members, right? Already we have discussed last time. By the Ministry of State and Finance, Mr. Sip Pratap Shukla, right? Here it is basically built to it is basically a mechanism to ban unregulated deposit schemes and protect the interest of depositors. This it seeks to amend 3 laws, including the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. Question will come that when Reserve Bank of India Act was introduced, so it is 1934, and the SEBI, that is Securities and Exchange Board of India Act 1992. Here, the benefit defines a deposit as an amount of money received through an advance, a loan, or in any other form, with a promise to be returned with or without interest. Anyone who asks for an advance deposit, and anyone includes an individual, a group, or a company, right? Anyone who asks a deposit without proper authenticity or without or with a promise to be returned with or without interest is called as unregulated deposit schemes, right? So such deposit may be returned either in cash or as a service, and the time of return may or may not be specified. Currently, 9 regulators oversee and regulate various deposit-taking schemes, right? Which includes Reserve Bank of India (RBI), then SEBI, that is Securities and Exchange Board of India, then Ministry of Corporate Affairs, state and union territory governments. For example, like RBI regulates deposits accepted by non-banking financial companies. SEBI regulates mutual funds. State and union territory government regulate chit funds, among others. All deposit-taking schemes are basically required to be registered with the relevant regulator. So, any individual, team, or organization have to regularize any deposit they take or they ask from anyone, from people, right? So anyone who asks you to deposit an advance amount with no paperwork or in any unregulated manner, in that case it is called as unregulated deposit schemes. And this unregulated deposit scheme is basically a deposit taking scheme which can be in short defined as unregulated if it is not registered with the regulators. Any scheme which is not registered with regulators will be called as unregulated, right? And deposit taker, the bill defines deposit takers as an individual, as I already told, a group of individuals or a company who asks for, solicits or receives deposits. Banks and entities incorporated under any other law are not included as deposit takers. Okay. Now, apart from this, the competent authority, basically, the bill provides for the appointment of one or more government officers. This bill proposes one or more government officers not below the rank of secretary to the state or central government as the competent authority. Police officers receiving information about the offences committed under this bill will report it to the competent authority. Further, police officers, obviously not below the rank of an officer in charge of a police station, may enter, search and seize any property believed to be connected with an offence under this bill, with or without a warrant. The competent authority may provisionally attach the property of the deposit taker as well as all deposit receipts, summon and examine any person it considers necessary for the purpose of obtaining evidence, and order the production of records and evidence. The competent authority will have powers similar to those vested in civil court, right? When it comes to designated courts, when it comes to designated courts, the bill provides for the constitution of one or more designated courts. Okay, it again proposes for one or more courts in specified areas. These courts will be headed by a judge not below the rank of a district and session judge, right? Here we come across three areas. Earlier I have told a police who will be having the authority for checking with or without a warrant should not be a less than police in charge of a police station, right? Similarly, here in the court also, this judge should not be a rank below a district and session judge, okay, or additional district and session judge. After provisional attachment of the deposit taker's assets, the competent authority will approach the designated court to make the provisional attachment absolute and ask for permission to sell the assets. The competent authority will have to approach the court within 30 days. This competent authority would have to approach within 30 days. Okay, within how many? Within 30 days, extendable maximum to 60 days. Okay, any persons who come across this case can approach the court within 30 days, which is extendable to 60 days. It will also open a bank account to realize and disperse money to depositors under the instructions of designated court. The designated court will have the power, the court which will come up, that court will have the power to make the provisional attachment absolute, vary or cancel the provisional attachment, finalize the list of depositors and the respective dues, direct the competent authority to sell the property and equitably distribute the money realized among the depositors. The court will seek to complete the process within 180 days of being approached by the competent authority. When it comes to central database, the bill provides for the central government to designate an authority to create an online central database for information on deposit takers. Okay. Finally, the penalty that will be suited, the one who will be an offender. The offenses are like running, advertising, promoting, operating or accepting money for unregulated deposit schemes. In short, I can say that running advertisements. So anyone who found with this is an offender. Who is fraudulently defaulting on regulated deposit schemes is obviously offender. Wrongfully inducting depositors to invest in unregulated deposit schemes by willingly falsify facts, right? For example, accepting years along with a fine ranging from 3 to 10 lakhs. The fine will include from 3 to 10 lakhs. Defaulting in repayment of unregulated deposit will be punishable to imprisonment. It can also go to imprisonment in case of default. Okay, and a fine ranging from 5 lakhs to twice the amount collected from depositors. Even twice the amount collected from depositors. Repeated offenders under this bill will be punishable with imprisonment between 5 to 10 years. The repeated one will be prosecuted for 5 to 10 years, right? Along with a fine ranging from 10 to 5 crores. 10 lakhs to 5 crores. Okay. So this was the bill which was introduced yesterday, and these were the key points that have to be noted when this particular bill is understood, right? Now, coming to the next is National Medical Commission Bill 2017. This bill basically sets up the National Medical Commission. What is this National Medical Commission? Basically, this National Medical Commission will regulate the medical examination and practice, which as of now is proposed with 25 members, and 4 autonomous boards have been set up under the supervision of NMC, right, which will focus on undergraduate and postgraduate medical education, admission, assessment and rating in ethical conduct. Okay, the national license examination for doctors to obtain the license to practice after graduation. This bill, basically the bill set up the National Medical Commission. It will determine fees up to 40%. This is going to realize up to 40%, okay, up to 40% seats in private medical institutions and deemed universities. This NMC will consist of 25 members. Search committee, as I have defined here, it will consist of 25 members. A search committee that will recommend names to the central government for the post of chairperson and the part-time members. Apart, this will have 4 autonomous boards, as I told, 4 autonomous boards have been set up under the supervision of the National Medical Council, and these boards will focus on undergraduate and postgraduate medical education, assessment and rating, and ethical conduct. This will be a national licentiate examination for doctors to obtain a license to practice after graduation. Okay, so here license, to obtain license after graduation. Okay, that is basically for postgraduate medical examination. This examination will also be basis for admission to postgraduate and medical courses. This will be the basis for admission to postgraduate. So state medical councils will receive complaints relating to professional or ethical misconduct against a doctor. If the doctor is aggravated of a decision of the state medical council, he may appeal to successfully higher levels of authority. Apart this, 2/3 of members in the NMC should be medical practitioners. So that is why it has defined that they have to be medical practitioners. And these expert committees have recommended that the regulators should consist of more diverse stakeholders in order to reduce the influence of medical practitioners in regulating medical education and practices. It have been very much vocal and advocated that this particular commission should be diverse in nature. It should not be dominated only by the medical practitioners. The NMC will determine fees up to 40% of the seats in private medical colleges and deemed universities, and there have been various arguments on fee capping by uh, experts. It has been recommended by some experts that fees should be capped to enable access to medical education for all. On the other hand, it has also been suggested that fee capping would discourage entry of private colleges. In cases of professional or ethical misconduct by medical practitioners, the practitioners can appeal a decision of the NMC to the central government, and it is unclear, why the central government and not a judicial body is the appellate body authority. It have been the point one it a point have been discussed, a point have been noted here and given here, that any professional on a misconduct can appeal to this NMC. So it is quite debating that why not a judicial body. Apart, there is no requirement for periodic renewal of the license to practice. Like in some countries, what happen is the doctor have to, the doctors have to, every interval of time they have to obtain a license by giving a test. The bill also proposes a bridge course for practitioners of IUs to enable them to prescribe modern medicines. It also provides an opportunity to IUs practitioners. There are differing views on this provision. While some emphasize the need of greater integration between the traditional and modern schools of medicine, others consider this step harmful for the independent development of IUs, right? So it have been very common factors which have been quite important for this particular bills, right? Now, let us go to the next news. The next news is implementation of PMFBY. What is this PMFBY? Scheme provides for setting up technical support unit with crop insurance expert to track and evaluate scheme implementation. Now, a few days back, we have gone through this Prime Minister Krishi Sinchai Yojana, right? So that was basically for what? That was basically for irrigation purpose. Similarly here, the implementation of PMFBY. What is PMFBY? This is Prime Minister Fasal Bima Yojana. Fasal means crop. Okay. So this Fasal Bima Yojana, here this, better I should write it. Prime Minister Fasal Bima Yojana. Fasal Bima Yojana. It is basically crop insurance in short. Okay, crop insurance. So here, this crop insurance, this scheme provides the setting of a technical sports unit. Okay, with a crop insurance expert. So which I'll be telling you in short. So it is what? Prime Minister Fasal Bima Yojana. Here, this Yojana is in simple a crop insurance. Okay, where the bullet points can be realized something like this, that this is inaugurated by whom? Obviously, the Prime Minister. Here, it is basically, when you go to this particular site, you will find this have a farmer corner, a calculator, that is insurance premium calculator, crop loss, claim status, complaint, and so on, some other activities, right? Here, this Yojana, basically, the central government Yojana is now inviting online registrations, applications, forms for crop insurance under this season. And under this scheme, farmers can apply online for agricultural insurance. Okay, so agricultural insurance cover and to get financial assistance in case their crops get damaged due to heavy rain. This agricultural insurance is basically if the crops get damaged by heavy rain, pests, or any disease. Because of any of this reason, if there is a loss of crop, then this insurance is going to help the farmers. So that is why, in short, it is a agricultural insurance which is highly needed by the farmers, and it have come across through this Yojana, that is Prime Minister Fasal Bima Yojana. So government is implemented this scheme across the country for the welfare of farmers. And the premium amount under this scheme was set up to 2% of Kharif and 1.5% of Rabi crops, compared to much higher premium under the previous crop insurance. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi have launched this insurance on it was launched on 18th Feb 2016, which finally got implemented. Okay, so anyone can register online. To register, the first they have to go to the official website of PMFBY, that is Prime Minister Fasal Bima Yojana. Then on the home page, they need to click at Farmers Corner, apply for crop insurance by yourself, and then finally follow the further instruction and get the application registered for requirement, right? So that is all about the implementation of this particular Yojana. Then let us come to implementation of E-Pasudan Hard Scheme. This is in simple. The reason is to connect breeders and farmers of indigenous breed for more milking, basically. Okay. Now let us come to next.